In a world full of secrets, one country stands out as the most mysterious: North Korea, known as the Hermit Kingdom. It's a place where old stories and modern life mix together, creating a world that's both fascinating and hard to understand. Today, we're going to take a closer look at North Korea, going beyond what we usually hear in the news. We'll explore how this country became so closed off, who leads it, and what life is like for the people living there. We'll dig into the history, the strict rules, and the challenges faced by those inside its borders. But this isn't just about telling stories. It's about looking for the real truths that often don't get told. That's where our channel, GeoLand, comes in. We're here to dive deep into important stories, bringing you the facts and details that are often missed. As we go through the story of North Korea, we invite you to come along. Your interest and support help us uncover and share these hidden truths. Together, we can learn more, understand better, and spread the word about what's really happening in the world. Welcome to GeoLand, where every story we share opens a bit more of the world to us all. Stick with us, share what you learn, and help us keep bringing you stories that matter. Let's start this journey together and discover the untold stories waiting to be heard.
All I'm offering is the truth, nothing.
The roots of isolation. The story of North Korea's isolation begins in the ashes of World War II, when the Korean peninsula, long under Japanese rule, was divided along the 38th parallel. In the north, a Soviet-backed communist regime took root, led by Kim Il-sung, laying the foundation for what would become the Democratic People's Republic of Korea. This division set the stage for the Korean War, a conflict that would further entrench the North's isolation as it solidified its identity in opposition to the capitalist South and its American allies. In the aftermath of the war, North Korea embarked on a path of self-reliance, or juk, an ideology that promoted political independence, economic self-sustenance, and military self-reliance. Juk became the cornerstone of North Korean policy, shaping its domestic and foreign policy decisions and justifying its isolation from the global community. As the Cold War deepened, North Korea's isolation grew. The fall of the Soviet Union and the Eastern Bloc in the late 20th century left North Korea even more isolated, both ideologically and economically. The regime doubled down on its juk ideology, further closing off from the world to protect its unique political system and way of life. This isolation was not just political. The North Korean government implemented strict controls on information, limiting the population's exposure to the outside world and ensuring that the state remained the primary source of information and truth. The government's control over every aspect of life in North Korea, from the economy to the media, has made it one of the most closed-off countries on Earth. Yet this isolation has come at a cost. Economically, North Korea has struggled, relying on limited trade with a few allies and facing numerous sanctions due to its nuclear program. Socially, the lack of exposure to the outside world has created a society that, while deeply patriotic, is also profoundly disconnected from global developments. Despite these challenges, the North Korean leadership has maintained its grip on power, using its isolation as both a shield against external influences and a means of controlling its population. The Hermit Kingdom, as it is often called, remains a testament to the lengths a regime will go to preserve its control and ideology, even in the face of economic hardship and international condemnation. As we delve deeper into the roots of North Korea's isolation, we begin to understand the complex interplay of history, ideology, and leadership that has shaped this unique country. The story of North Korea's isolation is not just a tale of political decisions. It's a narrative of survival, resilience, and the human cost of living in the shadow of perpetual conflict. Fortress of Solitude, Political System and Governance. North Korea's political system and governance structure are the bedrock of its isolation, creating a fortress of solitude that is unparalleled on the global stage. At the heart of this system is the Kim dynasty, a lineage that has ruled with an iron fist since the country's inception. The dynasty's cult of personality is not just a feature of governance. It is a critical tool for maintaining control and justifying the country's isolationist policies. The political landscape of North Korea is dominated by the Workers' Party of Korea, the PK, which operates under a unique brand of socialism heavily influenced by the juk ideology. This ideology, centered on self-reliance and independence, permeates every aspect of governance, from economic policies to military strategies, shaping North Korea's interactions with the rest of the world. Central to the governance of North Korea is the absolute power wielded by its supreme leader, Kim Jong-un, the third Kim, to rule the country. His decisions are unchallenged, reflecting the totalitarian nature of the regime. The government structure is designed to reinforce this power, the key positions held by loyalists and family members, ensuring that dissent is virtually non-existent. The political system is characterized by its lack of transparency and accountability. Elections in North Korea are a formality with candidates handpicked by the party and the outcome predetermined. This lack of political freedom is justified by the regime as necessary to protect the country from external threats and internal dissent, further entrenching its isolation. The governance of North Korea also extends to strict control over information and expression. The state controls all media, ensuring that only government-approved messages reach the public. This control is a crucial aspect of the country's isolation as it prevents external ideas and influences from challenging the regime's narrative and authority. Moreover, the government employs extensive surveillance and security measures to monitor the population and suppress any signs of dissent. The fear of reprisal for speaking out against the government or attempting to flee the country is pervasive, creating a society where conformity and loyalty to the regime are paramount. Despite the challenges and hardships faced by its people, the North Korean government continues to prioritize its survival and the maintenance of its political system over economic development or international integration. The fortress of solitude that is North Korea's political system and governance not only defines its isolation but also represents the lengths to which the regime will go to preserve its control and ideology in the face of global opposition. As we explore the inner workings of North Korea's political system, we gain insight into the complexities of governing the Hermit Kingdom. The intertwining of ideology, control, and leadership has created a governance model that is both fascinating and deeply troubling, highlighting the profound impact of absolute power on a nation and its people. Behind closed doors, human rights and society. Behind the imposing facade of North Korea's political system lies a more troubling reality, one of severe human rights abuses and a society under constant surveillance. The Hermit Kingdom's efforts to maintain its isolation and control over its population have led to widespread violations of basic human freedoms and dignity. North Korea's human rights record is among the most dismal in the world. The government's tight grip on all aspects of life results in severe restrictions on freedom of expression, religion, and movement. The state's pervasive surveillance system penetrates deeply into the daily lives of its citizens, with informants and monitoring ensuring compliance and loyalty to the regime. One of the most harrowing aspects of North Korea's human rights abuses is its political prison camps. These camps, hidden away from the world's eyes, are places of torture, forced labor, and inhumane treatment. Estimates suggest that tens of thousands of North Koreans are detained in these camps, often without due process for perceived opposition to the government or for the actions of their relatives, highlighting the regime's policy of collective punishment. The plight of ordinary North Koreans extends beyond the prison camps. The government's economic policies and mismanagement have led to chronic food shortages and famine. Despite the regime's propaganda showcasing prosperity and self-reliance, many North Koreans struggle with malnutrition and lack access to basic healthcare, exacerbating the human rights crisis. The state's control over information means that the outside world is often unaware of the full extent of suffering within North Korea. The government tightly controls all media, ensuring that only state-approved narratives are disseminated. This control extends to the internet, which is heavily censored and available only to a select few, further isolating the population from global society. Attempts to escape from North Korea are fraught with danger. Defectors face perilous journeys with the threat of severe punishment if caught and returned. Those who successfully flee carry with them harrowing stories of life inside the Hermit Kingdom, providing a rare glimpse into a society shrouded in secrecy. Despite international condemnation and sanctions aimed at addressing human rights abuses, the North Korean regime remains defiant, viewing external criticism as attacks on its sovereignty. The government's prioritization of its survival and nuclear program over the well-being of its people perpetuates a cycle of suffering and isolation. As we delve into the human rights situation and societal conditions in North Korea, we are confronted with the stark contrast between the regime's propaganda and the harsh realities faced by its people. The stories behind closed doors reveal a society struggling under the weight of oppression, highlighting the urgent need for global attention and action to address these grave human rights violations. Economy of the shadows. In the shadows of North Korea's political and military posturing lies an economy shrouded in secrecy and driven by survival. The Hermit Kingdom's economic landscape is a complex web of state control, illicit activities, and an ongoing struggle against international sanctions. This economy of the shadows reveals the lengths to which North Korea goes to sustain its regime and its isolationist policies. Central to understanding North Korea's economy is the state's total control over all economic activities. The government owns and operates all industries, with agriculture, mining, and manufacturing at the core of its economic structure. However, the rigid control and lack of innovation have stifled economic growth, leaving the country dependent on a limited range of exports, such as coal, minerals, and textiles. The economic challenges faced by North Korea are compounded by a series of international sanctions, imposed in response to its nuclear and missile programs. These sanctions aim to cut off the regime's financial lifelines, targeting its export revenues, access to international banking, and ability to import oil and luxury goods. In response, North Korea has developed sophisticated methods to circumvent these sanctions, engaging in illicit activities such as cyber warfare, smuggling, and the export of banned goods. Despite these efforts, the North Korean economy is marked by chronic shortages and inefficiencies. The government's policy of self-reliance, or juk, limits its ability to engage in international trade and access global markets. This isolation has led to periodic food shortages and economic crises, with the population bearing the brunt of these hardships. The shadow economy plays a significant role in the lives of ordinary North Koreans. With the formal economy unable to meet the needs of the population, informal markets known as jeongmyeong have emerged as vital sources of food, goods, and information. These markets represent a rare space of semi-autonomy within the rigid North Korean system, allowing for some degree of economic activity and interaction beyond the state's control. In recent years, there have been signs of economic change in North Korea, with the regime cautiously introducing market-oriented reforms. These reforms, however, are tightly controlled and limited in scope, reflecting the regime's fear of losing its grip on power. The leadership's primary focus remains on its military capabilities and nuclear program, often at the expense of economic development and the well-being of its people. The economy of the shadows in North Korea is a testament to the regime's resilience and adaptability in the face of external pressures. However, it also highlights the profound challenges faced by the North Korean people, who live in a society where the state's priorities often overshadow their basic needs and rights. As we explore the intricacies of North Korea's shadow economy, we gain insight into a system that operates on the fringes of the global economic order, driven by the dual imperatives of regime survival and self-reliance. This exploration sheds light on the complexities and contradictions of a country that remains an enigma on the world stage. The shield and the sword, military might and diplomacy. North Korea's military might and its approach to diplomacy serve as both a shield protecting the regime and a sword challenging its adversaries. This dual strategy is central to understanding the Hermit Kingdom's place on the global stage, where its pursuit of nuclear capabilities and its unpredictable diplomatic engagements keep the world on edge. At the heart of North Korea's defense strategy is one of the largest standing armies in the world, bolstered by compulsory military service for both men and women. This formidable force is complemented by a vast array of conventional weapons, including artillery, tanks, and fighter jets. However, it is North Korea's development of nuclear weapons and ballistic missile technology that has defined its military strategy in recent decades. These capabilities are portrayed by the regime as essential deterrents against perceived threats, particularly from the United States and South Korea. North Korea's nuclear ambitions have been met with international condemnation and a series of sanctions aimed at curbing its weapons programs. Despite this, the regime has continued to advance its nuclear and missile capabilities, conducting numerous tests that have escalated tensions in the region and beyond. These actions are not just demonstrations of military strength, but also bargaining chips in North Korea's complex game of diplomacy. Diplomacy for North Korea is a means to several ends, securing the regime's survival, gaining economic concessions, and achieving recognition as a nuclear power. The country's diplomatic engagements are characterized by cycles of provocation and negotiation, where periods of aggressive posturing and military displays are followed by overtures for dialogue and peace. This pattern has been evident in North Korea's interactions with successive South Korean administrations and its fluctuating relationship with the United States. The most notable diplomatic efforts in recent years include summits between Kim Jong-un and world leaders, including South Korea's president and the President of the United States. These meetings, while historic, have yielded mixed results, with significant agreements on denuclearization and peace remaining elusive. North Korea's diplomacy is often seen as a strategy to gain time, ease sanctions, and divide its adversaries, rather than a genuine commitment to change. North Korea's military might and diplomatic maneuvers are deeply interconnected, reflecting the regime's view of security and sovereignty as paramount. The pursuit of nuclear weapons, despite its international isolation, is seen as a guarantee of the regime's survival and a means to negotiate from a position of strength. As we delve into the shield and sword of North Korea's military and diplomacy, we uncover a nation that navigates the international arena with a unique blend of defiance and pragmatism. This approach, rooted in the regime's survival instincts, continues to shape North Korea's interactions with the world, presenting both challenges and opportunities for peace and stability in the region. The cultural veil. Behind Behind the geopolitical tensions and the stark narratives of isolation and defiance, North Korea is draped in a cultural veil that is both fascinating and deeply enigmatic. This segment peels back the layers of North Korea's culture, exploring the arts, propaganda, and the limited glimpses of everyday life that emerge from the Hermit Kingdom, revealing a society where culture serves as both a form of control and a source of national pride. North Korean culture is heavily influenced by the state's ideology, with the arts serving as a tool for propaganda and indoctrination. Music, literature, and film in North Korea are meticulously crafted to glorify the leadership and promote the Juche ideology of self-reliance and nationalism. The Array Mass Games, for example, are a spectacular display of gymnastics and artistic performances that narrate the story of North Korea's struggle and triumph over adversity. These performances, while breathtaking in scale and precision, underscore the collective identity and unity that the regime seeks to instill in its people. The state's control over culture extends to the suppression of foreign influences. Access to international media is strictly prohibited, and the consumption of non-state-approved content can lead to severe punishment. Despite these restrictions, smuggled South Korean dramas and movies have become a window to the outside world for some North Koreans, challenging the state's narrative and offering a glimpse of life beyond the country's borders. Yet beneath the surface of state-sanctioned culture lies a rich tapestry of traditional Korean art forms that have been preserved and adapted in North Korea. From folk music and dance to Korean calligraphy and painting, these cultural expressions remain an integral part of North Korea's identity, offering a contrast to the pervasive propaganda. The cultural veil also extends to the portrayal of North Korean society. State media presents an image of a harmonious and prosperous society, with citizens united in their loyalty to the leader and the party. However, defector testimonies and limited foreign media access reveal a more complex picture of life in North Korea, marked by hardship, inequality, and the human struggle for dignity and happiness. Understanding North Korea's culture requires navigating the intricate dance between state control and the enduring human spirit. The cultural veil, while serving as a barrier to the outside world, also offers a unique lens through which to view the resilience, creativity, and adaptability of the North Korean people. As we explore the cultural dimensions of North Korea, we are reminded that beyond the politics and the nuclear ambitions lies a society with its own stories, traditions, and aspirations. Peering through the cultural veil, we gain insight into the heart and soul of the Hermit Kingdom, a place where culture is both a means of suppression and a testament to the enduring human capacity for expression and identity. The enigma of international relations. North Korea's international relations are a complex web of diplomacy, strategic maneuvers, and ideological standoffs, making it an enigma in the global political landscape. This segment delves into the intricate dance between North Korea and the rest of the world, exploring how a nation so isolated and sanctioned has managed to navigate its way through international waters, often leaving analysts and policymakers puzzled and intrigued. At the core of North Korea's foreign policy is its pursuit of security and sovereignty, driven by the regime's desire to maintain its grip on power and protect itself from perceived external threats. This has led to a foreign policy characterized by a mix of aggressive posturing, strategic alliances, and occasional diplomatic outreach. North Korea's nuclear program is the most glaring manifestation of this approach, serving as both a deterrent against potential aggression and a bargaining chip in international negotiations. Relations with its closest ally, China, are pivotal to North Korea's survival. China provides North Korea with crucial economic support and acts as a diplomatic shield in international forums. However, this relationship is not without its tensions, as China navigates the fine line between supporting North Korea and responding to international pressure to rein in its allies' nuclear ambitions. North Korea's interactions with South Korea oscillate between moments of surprising warmth and sudden chill, reflecting the deep-seated tensions and historical grievances that define the Korean peninsula. Inter-Korean summits and joint projects have sparked hopes for reconciliation and peace, but these moments of détente are often followed by periods of renewed hostility, underscoring the volatile nature of inter-Korean relations. The United States plays a central role in North Korea's foreign policy narrative, often cast as the principal adversary in the regime's propaganda. The relationship between North Korea and the United States is marked by cycles of confrontation and dialogue, with nuclear disarmament being the perennial sticking point. High-profile summits between North Korean and U.S. leaders have raised hopes for a breakthrough, only to be met with stalemates and setbacks. North Korea's relations with other countries, including Russia, Japan, and members of the European Union, are influenced by its nuclear program and human rights record. While some nations seek engagement and dialogue, others advocate for isolation and pressure as means to address the North Korean challenge. The enigma of North Korea's international relations lies in its ability to defy expectations and navigate a path through seemingly insurmountable challenges. By leveraging its nuclear program, playing off great power rivalries, and exploiting the geopolitical dynamics of the region, North Korea has managed to maintain its sovereignty and keep the world guessing about its next move. As we unravel the complexities of North Korea's stance on the global stage, we gain insights into the motivations and calculations that guide its foreign policy. The enigma of North Korea's international relations is a testament to the unpredictable and often paradoxical nature of global diplomacy, where adversaries and allies alike must contend with the Hermit Kingdom's strategic gambits. As we draw our exploration of North Korea, the Hermit Kingdom, to a close, we traverse through its enigmatic history, delved into its fortress-like political system, uncovered the harsh realities behind its human rights facade, navigated the murky waters of its shadow economy, and deciphered the complex signals of its military might and diplomatic dances. We've also lifted the cultural veil to glimpse the soul of a nation often shrouded in mystery and propaganda. Through this journey, we've seen the resilience of the North Korean people and the lengths to which the regime will go to maintain its isolation and control. This deep dive into North Korea's heart has not only shed light on the intricacies of a nation frequently misunderstood and misrepresented, but has also underscored the importance of looking beyond the headlines. In a world where mainstream media often follows a set narrative, the quest for truth becomes all the more critical. This is where GeoLand steps in. GeoLand is a channel dedicated to bringing you exclusive content that seeks the truth, delving into topics that mainstream media often overlooks or chooses not to publish. Our mission is to share knowledge and insights that empower you to see the world through a more informed and nuanced lens. In doing so, we embrace anonymity, not for the sake of secrecy, but to ensure that our content remains unfiltered and unbiased, free from the influences that might sway our pursuit of truth. Every video we publish, every story we tell, is a step towards shedding light on the shadows of our world. But this journey is not ours alone. It thrives on your support, your curiosity, and your thirst for understanding. Each share, each discussion you engage in, helps our channel grow and improves our ability to bring you even more in-depth analyses and untold stories. As we conclude our series on North Korea, we invite you to join us in this quest for truth. Help us spread the word, challenge the narratives, and contribute to a more informed and open world. Your support is not just appreciated, it's essential. Together, let's ensure that the truth, no matter how uncomfortable or hidden, is shared far and wide. Thank you for being a part of GeoLand's journey. Stay curious, stay informed, and most importantly, stay engaged. The world is vast and its stories are manifold. Let's discover them together. This conclusion not only wraps up the series on North Korea, but also reinforces GeoLand's mission and the critical role of its audience in challenging mainstream narratives and supporting the quest for truth. Portuguese.